We've all been there. I've interrupted people during conversations, and I've been interrupted during conversations. And as the interruptee, it doesn't feel good. In this video, we're going to talk about why do we interrupt, what's happening at the brain level, and strategies that we can use to control the impulse to interrupt so that we don't, unless it's a well-timed interruption, because that's a thing too. My name is Dr. Nina Ahuja. My mission is to empower you to create cultures of reliable respect where people know that they will be valued, seen, heard, respected, no matter what the context or challenge at that time. So, interruptions, why do we do that? Now, say you're in an organization or you're even at home, your family's an organization of sorts, and you're planning an event. It could be a birthday party, it could be an anniversary party, it could be a camping trip, it could be a big event at your work where you're celebrating some sort of milestone that your organization has reached. People come into these situations and conversations really excited. And so that excitement can lead someone to interrupt. The idea of we're rushed, we have to have this planned by the end of the week, that can lead people to interrupt because they're excited to share their thought. It could be a mark of encouragement, like, oh, that's a great idea, but that can be an interruption. It can also be the fact that people just want to take over and dominate the conversation. And that could be another reason for interrupting. So, there are a number of reasons why we will disrupt someone else in their train of thought, which sometimes can be appropriate. So, if there's an emergency or there's a safety issue and you need to cut somebody off, that's appropriate. Other times, if someone's just being very negative and derailing the conversation, that's another fair enough reason to interrupt. And other times, from a positive standpoint, you do want to give indications that, you know what, this is a really good idea. I like that. You want to provide some reinforcement. So while there are reasons why we interrupt, and sometimes it doesn't feel good, there can be reasons to interrupt for good reason. What's happening at the brain level, though? Why do we get this sense of urgency that we need to express our thoughts and interrupt whatever flow of conversation that's happening? In previous videos, I've talked about how there are three main sections of the brain, and that's at a very simplistic level. Again, not going nitty gritty into the neuroanatomy because that's very complex, but conceptually, talking about the brain in three sections where you've got your higher brain, which is where we do our thinking, logic, processing, reasoning, the midbrain, which holds our emotional memories and helps process emotions. It's also where our center is located for protection and survival. And then we've got the lower brain, which is where it's our regulatory centers for our heart rate, rest rate, things that keep us literally keeping us alive. Those are the 3 centers that we're talking about. Now, when it comes to a conversation and your impulse to respond, what happens is that in that midbrain area where we've got our protection survival centers, part of that center's responsibility is to tag what's important. So that if you suddenly have a thought and you suddenly have an idea that you're really excited about, that center tags that idea as important and you develop this need to express yourself. The heightened system response that happens in your nervous system because you think something's a great idea or you're really offended by an idea and you really need to get that out, that tag of importance coupled with the fact that you have a part of your brain that's responding with a neurochemical called dopamine because you've got this idea and you really want to share it. That dopamine chemical, as part of our reward system, that actually makes the um, importance tag even brighter. So it makes you want to really get your idea out there. So there's some neuroscience, brain science behind that that's making us want to express ourselves. In relation to that, also, there are the elements of the social brain that include mirroring. So that when we're seeing somebody say something that they're excited about, we often mirror that response and therefore want to express that same level of excitement. Similarly, if there's disagreement and we agree with that disagreement, we may want to really get that opinion out there. And so that form of mirroring becomes part of that interaction and also part of the impetus that adds to that tag that this is important. I need to say this and you want to get your thought out there. The question then gets to be how do we regulate this? Knowing that sometimes interruptions are appropriate and other times it's counterproductive. Why? Because it makes the person who's being interrupted feel dismissed, feel unheard, feel disrespected. That does not serve to create that environment and tone within the space, within the group, within the culture, within the organization, whatever context you want to look at it in, within the family, if you're looking at a personal thing. It doesn't create that space where people feel as though I'm going to have my opinions heard, so I don't need to fight and muscle my way through to use my voice in a way that's actually going to be received in a meaningful manner. How then do we regulate that impulse? The quickest way and the easiest way to get yourself out of the midbrain, which is wanting you to respond because the importance tag is highlighted, is to count to 10. That engages the higher center of your brain through the activity. And as you count to 10, it also accomplishes the goal of creating space for the other person to complete their thought. And oftentimes you'll find in that strategy of counting to 10 that the person who is speaking will either answer the question that you had in your mind, address the issue that came up, or add more information to you that you can then use as you carry on with the conversation and contribute your thought and idea when your turn has come. The second thing you can do, which is always a good response in any situation, is to take a deep breath. When you take a deep breath in, it engages that part of your system, which is heightened. If you hold your breath for 4 seconds, it does a mini reset. And then when you exhale, it engages that part of your system, which is calming. If you hold at the bottom again, 4 seconds and restart, it just helps to calm your system down more so that that heightened state that's really tapping into that importance tag, it blunts a little bit and it allows you to uh, connect and listen to the conversation that's happening. The third thing you can do is engage the 3 R's. Reflect on the situation, recognize what you're feeling, recognize why is it that you're feeling heightened and that need to really respond acutely and suddenly in that moment. Reframe that as an opportunity to pause for a second and listen to what the other person's saying, as an opportunity to create space for that other person, as an opportunity to practice giving that opportunity to the other person so you can demonstrate a sense of respect that you're actually wanting to hear their complete thought, and then responding accordingly with a more balanced approach where you're not coming from that need to express myself button turned on high and then actually engaging in dialogue that is more balanced. The fourth thing you can do is to actively listen. Sometimes we're so excited about something, we just want the other person to know that we're excited and that we're in agreement. Or if we're in disagreement, that, we need to discuss this more. And just by nodding or having some sort of feedback that isn't disruptive is a way to convey that message without interrupting per se, so that when the thought is done, you can carry on and engage with the conversation and share your thoughts. Again, there are times, like I said before, where interrupting is appropriate, but if you can use these techniques of counting to 10, deep breath, using the 3 R's with reflect, reframe, respond, that can help mitigate the disrespect that can be received for the person who's being interrupted. These are the thoughts for the day. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. This is resonating with you. And also, if you like, please share this content, like it, subscribe. It tells the platform that this is quality content. And if you have ideas, please put them in the comments. I look forward to reading them. And I thank you for taking the time to spend with me today.